Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the same day. I'm not that perturbed by our previous loss. Obviously, I would have preferred to have won it. I think the win was well within our grasp. But I honestly... Ooh, Avery, GG8Y. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, feel like that was the first readily winnable run that we've lost in some time. What I mean by that, you could argue, of course, that the keeper run that we lost, we could have won. Sure, but we're the keeper. We got a good excuse. That was the first run in, like, months where I really feel like we don't have a good excuse for dying. Which is, in its own way, a little counterintuitive, but the run having just failed has made me appreciate the success of our recent runs that much more. I know, what a bizarre situation, huh? Anyway, I'm gonna put this one on the line immediately. See what's going on in here. I recognize your concerns. This should be interesting. Well, we will live temporarily. Bad Trip couldn't have killed us. In fact, Bad Trip only would have made us even stronger. You can't defeat us, Mr. Powers. You can't resist us, Mr. Powers. Au contraire. I think it's you that can't resist me, baby. And then the song, I don't know anybody else. We don't need to go there. That's okay. I haven't seen Austin Powers in a long time. It's probably my favorite movie in which a North American actor pretends to be British, specifically for comedic purposes. The only other one I can think of is Holmes versus Watson. To be honest, it's not even close. Holmes versus Watson, I watched it specifically, that's the one with the, it sounds like a great pitch on paper. You got Will Ferrell, you got John C. Reilly. They play Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. I'm not saying it sounds like the recipe for a 10 out of 10 movie, but to me, it sounds like the recipe for an enjoyable send-up of Sherlock Holmes. Man, I really should have saved my bomb. Another bomb, please? Okay, never mind. Alright, next time then. Instead, it's just insulting. It's an insult to the audience's intelligence. I would not recommend watching it. Is it so bad it's good? It's not even really so bad it's good, to be honest. It just happened to be on the movie channel. That was the principal reason, raison d'etre, if you will. I don't really... It's weird. I like Will Ferrell, but I also think that a lot of my opinions on Will Ferrell movies are a little askew, I'll try, from people my age, for the most part. What I mean by that specifically is, well, there goes the bone heart. If only we had bombs, for example, just throwing that out there. I think Step Brothers is horrible, and yet anytime anyone within 3 years of my age drinks wine, there's a 99% chance they will shout Catalina wine mixer at some point. It's just part of my culture, apparently. Old school, okay. Aged, not so well. Luke Wilson, he does sleep with a high school senior at the start of that movie. I laughed when I saw it in theaters. I was 14. Cut me some slack. Hold on, this is a big moment. Why not? Let's get weird. My favorite Will Ferrell movie? Look, Anchorman is pretty good. However, I think it's got to be Stranger Than Fiction. I really like Stranger Than Fiction. It is not a movie where people are like, oh, I've never heard of that one. But like, sometimes does not get brought up when you're talking about Will Ferrell films. And the other one that'll throw you for a slight loop, I don't really like Elf that much. Just in general, a Christmas movie's gotta be... It's gotta be 25% better than a non-Christmas movie to earn the same score. Maybe it's not fair, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. The other thing I noticed, like, sometimes when we're out at a restaurant, I've realized that, like, craft beer culture has now become just naming your beer after Will Ferrell quotes. You know, you'll be like, I don't think you'd ever see something as egregious as, like, the Ron Burgundy Pilsner. But I saw one that was like, it was like the bridge, did we just become best friends pale ale? And I'm like, is that marketing? You just name your product after a quote people like? And then people are like, I'll take that. Look, craft beer names, they use too much of them up too fast. They've gotten silly from what I've seen, at least. Everyone's trying to, you know, back in the day there were only like, you know, 5 craft beers on the market. Now there's 300, I get it. You gotta be the, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy Grolsch. That doesn't make sense. Let's try that again. The Guardians of the Galaxy Kolsch. But, okay, apparently my game is paused. Oh, because there has been an update of some software. That's good. I love it when my computer does things without my permission. It really makes me feel like I am the consumer and not the product being sold. Just move on, please. I know I'm a boomer. It always just, it reminds me though, the product names reminds me of that time I was at that Chili's airport. At the Chili's in the Oakland airport, I should say, not a Chili's airport. Sorry, it's been a long day. I went to that Chili's once. I was there for 45 minutes. I've talked about it for 5 years. But I innately distrust any food menu that tells me how to feel about the food with a word that doesn't mean anything. When it goes like, kickin' chicken tenders, I'm like, that is not, what do you mean, kickin'? I don't want any food that kicks. I get it's like, oh, it's spicy. Why don't you just call it spicy then? Why you gotta get into this kickin' territory? Ooey gooey, chewy, flaming mozzarella stickers. I'm like, what is... First off, you don't need to tell me the tastes. I will derive the tastes myself. Secondly, mozzarella sticks? Sure, what the heck is a mozzarella sticker? I don't know. Probably it's gonna be like a gyoza style thing, but with just mozzarella inside. I can get down with it, but you made the text too cutesy. Now I don't want to. Maybe my loss. Maybe. I will say, I'm medium skeptical of what I would describe as gimmick foods. You know, whenever I'm looking at a restaurant menu and I see something weird. I don't mean weird like, ooh, it's got green stuff in it. I mean weird like, you know, prawn heads. I say to myself, I don't know about this. Did I ever tell you the one time Kate and I went to a really fancy sushi restaurant? And we, you know, one of the appetizers was like a shrimp / prawn, you know, served by itself. So like a prawn sashimi. And then when they came to take the heads, they were like, or the shell in the head, they were like, you know, a lot of customers like it when we fry the heads. So we offer, you know, for no extra charge, we'll take these back to the kitchen, fry the heads, and bring them back. We went, oh, that sounds cool. You know, we're enlightened, worldly people. Let's give it a try. Do not recommend. It's like eating edible glass. The people who like that, we need to have a long conversation. Cut the crap out of my mouth. No flavor whatsoever. Look, I eat a lot of foods that make my parents go, really? I just can't get down with the shrimp head. I mean, to be honest with you, I would rather eat the shrimp head raw than eat it fried. I think the fried aspect just amped it up to like 1,000. But anyway, what I was going to say is Kate and I went out for dinner the other night. I love Brussels sprouts. I saw on the menu they had tempura Brussels sprouts. I said, I'll take an order of those. Delicious. Now, I do want to say, does it compromise the nutritional quality of the Brussels sprouts? Absolutely. However, you gotta stop looking at vegetables as exclusively having merit for the fact that they're good for you. You gotta recognize there are vegetables that offer a delicious pack of flavor-rich punch as well. It's not exclusively, hey, this my wife's making me eat a salad. It's not all like that. Some of them, you know, you're like, oh, I'm pleased to be eating Brussels sprouts, even if they're not good for me. These were delicious. Also, horrible for you. Like, I got a salt tolerance that's very high. But even these, I was like, you know what? If I were a smarter man, I would say this is too salty. But I'm not. So it's delicious. Very nice. Very nice indeed. You know, we went real hard early on, and it's maybe a little too early to say it's paid dividends, but I'm loving the stats. We got the ability to fly, we got a respawn, we got a guppy item, maybe 2, depending on how this one works out. And also, they serve like these crispy chickpeas that are delicious, but it raises an issue. Because it's a chopstick-based restaurant. You know, they sell ramen and, you know, rice bowls and stuff like that. The rice bowl you probably use a spoon for. I know you're like, I use chopsticks. Well, you're entitled to. But I will tell you, it's a strange story, but when I was teaching in Korea, I went out for food, got a rice bowl, a chaebokkeum, if you must know. I came back, I was eating it with chopsticks. All my Korean colleagues laughed at me. They said, why don't you just use a spoon? I said, I thought you were supposed to use chopsticks to eat this. They looked at me like I had, you know, hit my head. They're like, what do you mean, supposed to? So it stuck with me. We do, you know, I say we as if it's like unique to, you know, North America. But we overcorrect, you know? It's not Paris anymore, it's Paris. You don't call it pho. If you call it pho, people look at you like you're insane. You go, oh, did you mean pho? You know what I meant, Susan. Well, you gotta be like that. You're not more cultured than me just because you watched one Netflix show where they made a beef noodle soup, okay? I lived in Asia. You think you're better than me? Anyway. This should trigger empty vessel, too, so well worth it. We don't have anything in here anymore, but that's also fine. But the chickpea is a spherical food. Not good for forks, specifically in this case. Why not? That was weird. I guess I will leave. Not good for forks. Okay, you know, I think I've had enough. Because it's fried, so it's like stabbing something brittle with a fork. You know, you run the risk of getting it all, you know, of yeeting it, basically. Not good for chopsticks, because it's a spherical food. It's not impossible to pick up a spherical food with chopsticks. I promise you, if you're watching this video, there is probably, I would say, a 95% chance I am more adept at using chopsticks than you. It's not braggadocious. I only bring that up to defend myself because whenever you mention a weakness on the internet, a bunch of people feel compelled to tell you that they're stronger than you are. That's not the case. I am in all likelihood stronger than you are in the chopstick field. I have a lot of experience, decades. Been using them since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. You want me to pick up a single grain of rice with chopsticks? Not a concern. While it's flying through the air? Easy. Well, what are we talking about? Are we talking about wooden chopsticks with a little bit of grip? Or are we talking about Korean chopsticks that are all metal, and if you slip even a micrometer, they clang together, and then your in-laws look at you like you're a disgrace, and you say, don't judge me, I lived in Asia. You think you're better than me? Anyway, I guess the real answer is just use a spoon. Using a spoon to eat, I don't know. Like, I'm not against it. I mean, a spoon, if you could only have one of the, let's say, 4 major utensils, chopsticks, fork, knife, spoon, you gotta go with spoon, right? I know you're like, I'd take a fork. No, you can't make some kind of, this isn't 2nd grade. You can't make some kind of cutesy, clever bit of wordplay, and I'll be like, oh, you got me. You found the answer. I'm asking you to make hard choices here, okay? You might not like it, but that's what real life is hard choices like this. You gotta go with the spoon, right? Chopsticks, the best for some foods, very suboptimal for others. You know, I think you could pretty much figure that out. It's not like it would be impossible, but if you're eating, like, you know, a steak, you don't want to pick up a 32-ounce ribeye with a pair of chopsticks and take a single bite and then have to, like, gnaw through the combination of fat and meat, you know? Then again, now that I think about it, a spoon's not going to help you out that much either in that situation. The thing is, you know, you might think the main advantage of the spoon is you get to eat liquid foods, like soups and stews. But you could really, like, I think if you had to, you would be fine just using the bowl in those situations. You know, you could be a little hot, maybe, and you might not get the right distribution of broth versus, you know, bulk ingredients, but you could just pick up a bowl of soup, slurp, put it back down. Even if it's a chunky soup, it'll work. You might make your mouth a little messier than usual. I don't know. Maybe you would go with a fork then, because a fork also gives you the option of, you know, cutting, much like a spoon does. You could do a little cutting with it. You obviously don't want a knife, because what's a knife without a fork to hold it, you know? You're not doing much cutting without something keeping it in place. It's like comedy. Every joke needs a straight man and then someone to deliver the punchlines. Every cut needs a knife and then something to hold the meat. I don't know. I'm now undecided. I think I was originally going to say a spoon, but I think I could be persuaded for a fork. To be honest with you. What about ice cream? Just get it in a cone, you madman. I know the waffle cone's like $1.50 extra, but it's worth it. It's better than the ice cream sometimes. Better than the ice cream. Sorry, it's been stuck in my head for a few days, and you can't get it out unless you go, better than the ice cream. I must have the strangest workout playlist of any 31-year-old man. Ooh, I really need some extra gas for this next set. Hit me, Elton. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Ooh, till someone brings me back again to find. Ooh. Anyway, we are completely set on this run. First off, 16 minutes to get down to the womb. Secondly, Guppy. And then thirdly, holding Guppy's paw, originally I was a little not excited about. But now I realize if we ever die, we get to come back into extra survivability, empty vessel, and, I mean, Whore of Babylon, I guess, is kind of automatic, but love to fight these guys. So we're back on the saddle again. We're off to the races. We're having fun. And it's been a good episode for commentary, if I do say so myself. If you ever get the chance, though, and I want to be clear, I am not a tempura stan. When it comes to tempura, I had previously labored under the distinction that there are two categories. Shrimp, and then other stuff I will eat, but after the shrimp, because the shrimp is the best. Tempura shrimp, it was just the superior form of battered Japanese food. I don't think I want it. Like, I think it wouldn't ruin Empty Vessel, Whore of Babylon, but I don't want to risk it because the reward is low. We already have so much survivability with 9 extra lives and Guppy's Paw. I'm telling you, I would actually prefer the tempura Brussels sprout to the tempura shrimp. And I know that's a very bold claim. I'm just saying, give it a chance. You might look at it, you know, like sometimes if you get tempura, you're like, shrimp, great. Sweet potato, that's pretty cool. Then you're like, I don't know, this has got like a dark green rind and then an orange middle. And you're like, squash? Pumpkin? Gourd? Whatever, it's fried, I'll eat it. But you're like, it's not the best. This, you're gonna be like, it's ooey, gooey, creamy, kickin' Brussels sprout stickers. That's a callback that took a lot of brain power, to be honest. Yeah? Let me in? Beautiful. Basically gave us a free life right there. I mean, we're gonna be done with this run in like less than 5 minutes, though. He's back. Also had a very strange situation. So this area that we ate in last night is downtown Vancouver. Not sketchy. If you ever come to Vancouver and you're worried that, you know, I've told stories about it being a little zany sometimes, you really... No, they were not embellished. They really happened. But at the same time, there's only a couple of areas that I would recommend not going if you're a tourist. And I don't go there as a local either. There's no reason, especially as a tourist, to find yourself in the downtown east side. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Apart from that couple areas. But there are these public, like, bathroom stalls you try not to use. I've only used them once in my entire life in an emergency. You try not to use them because they've been used by people for napping or, you know, taking some illicit narcotics. They have, like, anti-loitering measures. So after 5 or 10 minutes with the door closed, they sound an alarm, and then it automatically opens. The alarm is basically like, put your pants on, brother. I mean, I've never defecated in one. I would rather... I'm not joking. It would be more comfortable to poo your pants. I don't say that with any smile or trace of a smirk crossing my face. I think most people are like, I don't believe you. If you opened the door and looked inside, you would be like, okay, I may still not agree, but I at least understand where you're coming from. I might opt to save some dignity and at least try to make the stall work, but I can see where you're coming from. Anyway, an older gentleman went in. After 10 minutes, the door opened. He did not come out. Another older gentleman went in. After about 2 minutes, the first gentleman came out. The second gentleman did not come out. I have, as of yet, been unable to concoct a scenario in my head where this makes any sense. I know what you're thinking. There's probably some hanky-panky going on in there. Okay. None of my business. But is it like some sort of... It's like a library book system? There's a dude in there. You go in. But then he leaves? Like, is it... There's always gotta be one person? There's always gotta be a Stark in Winterfell? Is that what's going on there? I really genuinely have not come up with a reasonable explanation. If the second man had gone in, and then the second man had come out, I would be like, okay, I get it. That's the first guy's office. I was not under that impression at first. Now I understand. But when the first guy went in, 10 minutes later, that's fine. 10 minutes later, the second guy went in. 2 minutes later, the first guy came out. It was like his shift had ended or something. I'm still... I don't think that there is a rational explanation. Whatever was happening there, I think the human brain strains trying to find a reason for it when there may have actually just been some chaos. Like, I'm thinking, the honest hypothesis I came to is that the first guy passed out. The second guy had to pee really bad. I apologize for all the people out there watching this video with your families. First guy passed out. 10 minutes later, the door opens automatically. Second guy had to pee really bad. Walked in and went, I mean, I really gotta go. Peed around the first guy who had passed out, which woke up the first guy who said, oh, I gotta get out of here. He left. And then the second guy passed out? I mean, we're in uncharted waters. There could be a 10-part Netflix series. The bathroom. Security camera footage on Robson Street saw the man walking up with a normal gait. Surely if he had to urinate so badly, his gait would be addled, or he would walk in a hurry. But he seems to be at ease. I ask you, does this seem to be the behavior of a man who has to urinate badly? These seem like the machinations of a mind compensating for a full bladder. I'm still working on it. I have not come up with the... Look, I'm just going to say, if this was a court of law, there's reasonable doubt all around. All I can do is offer it up in the court of, you know, judge me. He might still... Wait, let me rephrase. There's a better way to build this bit. Some say he's still there. Are you talking about the bathroom on Robson Street? That bathroom hasn't existed for 40 years. Ever since it took those two souls on the night of the long farts. Anyway, that's that. It was an eventful day. This is the most stacked run I've had today for sure, out of the 3 or 4 we've done. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. That was a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!